minerals and mining, where it relates to health regulations, so specifically regulation LI 2182. Last week we considered the requirements for quarry mining, and we also looked at the importance and the benefits of the quarry operations to the mining community and even the broader general population in the country. Today we are joined once again by Mr. John Amoanyi, Deputy Chief Inspector of Mines of the Minerals Commission, and we are going to delve a bit more into the operations of the quarry sector. Mr. Amoanyi, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Reiterate for us once again the importance of the quarry sector. What kind of products are we talking about, and how do they benefit us who are not even miners?
Okay. The product we are talking about is the granite. We are talking about the granite. The most of the quarries, the product, the granite. And then, as I was saying last week, we use it for sea defense. So through the sea defense, we save life, we save land. So we also protect life. So the sea defense is used. We also the quarrying also provide employment for people in the assembly. Also support the income of the assembly. The assembly, the local economy, and then also as the national economy. They also just support all those things.
Right. And these people who work in the quarry sector, we know that their health is important, but also important is the health of the environment in which they work. So, for example, there are health issues which impose some dangers. Talk to us about that.
Like for the dust, you see, the operations produce dust. So dust is a health issue. We are also talking about the noise from the blast. It's also a health issue. We are also talking about the flying rocks, which is it's a safety issue from the blast. And then we are talking about the vibration, the air blast, that is the air over pressure. They are all safety issues.
Okay. What does the regulation say with regards to managing these things that you've mentioned, so, dust, noise, vibrations, and flying?
That one it has a provision for that. So for the dust, we use the suppression system, and then you also you have to look into your practices, the blasting practices, the number of holes to be drilled, and so on and so forth. And then also, because these dangers, we know these dangers ahead. That is why we don't want people to come closer to where the operations are going on, because if there will be a blast, that is the only means, or that's the only method we use to extract the product.
And that's why the Commission is taking steps to fight encroachment on quarry sites.
Yes. And then that is why we are just doing that. We don't want people to come closer to the quarries because of how the operation is. For now, we only extract through the blasting method, using explosives to do the blasting.
Remind us again what the distance is, the safe distance from a community to a quarry site.
Okay, per the regulation, that is the explosive regulation. It says the exclusion zone, the minimum exclusion zone is 500. So that is what the regulation says. So all that we are saying
500
is that meters. And then it could be more, depending on your operations. If your practices are not good, it can also be extended, but this is the minimum, the distance from the quarry. So what we are saying is that always the quarry, the radius of 500 need to be maintained. We shouldn't allow people to come closer because of the dangers the quarries pose. So we don't want people to come closer to where the quarry operations are going on.
Apart from dust, noise, and flying rocks, there are also dangers with gases that could also affect the persons who work in the community.
Yes. So because of the explosive we use, you say the explosives are a mixture of gases, and then when you detonate, it releases those gases. So those people within the working areas, they are provided with the PPEs, that is the personal protective equipment. So you have a nose guard, you have the ear mount, which we and then also you have a helmet for the protection. So all those people working
and all this is spelled out in the regulation.
Yes, if you have to just the provision, the operator needs to provide all these safety gadgets to the operators.
And how under what circumstances will the quarry sites be closed, for example?
Yeah, for the this one, I just want to just put a caution across, because at times you will hear assembly people closing the quarry and then so and so forth. The quarry can only be shut down by the person who issues the license and the person who issues the operating permit, and then the mines inspectors. They can just issue and then we have for the regulation, that is the LI 218222. If the operator is contravening any of the provisions in the regulation, and then which is said that the operations now become a danger to the public or danger to those surroundings, then the inspector will just issue the prohibition notice for the shutdown of the quarry. Also, if also it is satisfied by the minister that the operator is convicted of an offense relating to smuggling or illegal sale or dealing in the minerals.
We're used to smuggling of gold and cocoa and the rest. Are you saying quarry products are also smuggled?
Yes, if it becomes clear that people are exporting, because some of the countries, they don't even have this type of like the quarry products. They don't have. That is why we need to be very careful, because if we don't take care to protect this products or this mineral, it will come to a time we have to import, and then that one will be a very, very, very serious to the country, because without the quarry product, the country cannot develop. So we are always talking about development. We should construct schools, we should construct hospitals, we should construct overheads and flyovers and so on and so forth. And then all these things are done using the quarry product. That is the granite, to be specific. So if we don't protect this product, then we are dead.
So what are some of the sanctions then that, apart from being shut completely, are there other sanctions that a company can be slapped with for engaging in these malpractices? Yes,
if you go, that's what I'm saying, there's a prohibition notice. If they will ask you to just stop work. So if you refuse to just stop work, then there's a sanction they will just impose on the quarry operator. So always, as the earlier one I said, there is a provisions for all the person who go contrary to the provisions of the regulation. So if you go contrary, it can be stopped. But whilst stopping, there is also avenue for you to just come back. If you are able to fulfill what is, like if there is unsafe condition at your site and then you are able to just rectify that unsafe condition, then you can just be applied to the Chief Inspector of Mines. You can be asked to just come to work. At times, people also use unqualified people at the quarry site. So if the people working there, they are not qualified to work there, especially the explosive, the blast people, those people engage in the blasting activity, you need to have the blasting certificate of competency, which is issued by the Chief Inspector of Mines. So if the person working there, they don't have those certification, then by all means the quarry will be shut down. So those are central, because if that's what I'm saying, we are talking about the 500 even zone. If the practices are not good, it can still cause people to it can just cause the flying rocks to even throw over the 500, the radius.
Okay.
So what we are saying is that we don't want people to encroach the quarry. Because more you encroach, you see, one of the conditions also for shutting is if it becomes necessary for the interest of the public. If people encroach the quarry site, at a point, every blast, it will cause harm.
Okay.
You see, and then it's caused damage. It can even kill. So once the whole quarry has been encroached, at a point,
it has to be shut
down. It has to be shut down. We have some quarries at the Etiwa Quarry or Palm Krum, or so it's called, or Palm Krum, Kuma or so. We have ECM Quarry, which is also shut down. We have so many quarries. If you go to Takoradi, you have a James Eshon Quarry.
Someone reached out to us about one in the Kaswa area, and last week you said you were going to have a look.
And then they are saying they are far away, so I've given to the inspectors, because if they are far away from the quarry or they are beyond the 500, then we need to look at their blasting practices. Right. Whether they are doing more holes or they are also overcharging. I was talking about the charge density or the powder factor of the explosives. If the powder factor is high, it will cause this vibration and another thing. So, which we need to just look at the practices of those the operations.
So it's always like time flies when you are here, because the questions, sometimes we want to keep going on and on, but because of the time factor, we are bringing this regulation LI 2182. We are gradually winding down on that. What would be your final take on this 30 seconds so before we wrap?
What I would say,
we have to link to our next.
This time I want to just stress on the quarry and then the encroachment.
A quick one then.
So, because the assembly, they determine the land use. So if they can just help us so that people are not giving the permit. Also, the operators are also being engaged that they need to acquire that the radius, that land, so that they can even use that area for planting of these thick trees, which is also can catch some of the dust. So, and then it's also a cash crop. We are not saying that people cannot do anything on that radius. What we are saying is that it shouldn't be a burden.
Okay.
But we can just cultivate, or we can just plant trees, cash crops, and all the farming, any farming we would like to just.
Mr. Amoanyi, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. On LI 2182 is the Minerals and Mining Health, Safety and Technical Regulation 2012 law, and we've been discussing what it means for quarry operations, the importance of the quarry operations themselves to our national development. We know that it helps us to keep our infrastructures up. So granite used for building roads, hospitals, schools, all the things that we see around are benefits of what we get from the quarry operations, and so we need to keep the operations safe and the people in those communities safe as well. Thank you, Mr. John Amoanyi, Deputy Chief Inspector of Mines at the Minerals Commission, for sharing your thoughts on this matter with us, as we do every